So good evening, my lovelies. Have a moment just to start to relax on your mats. Get comfortable. Start to relax into your body. Notice where you're tense and whether what you're holding sensation-wise is a long-standing physical feeling or whether it's just something that you're feeling from, a long day. Notice what's going on. And as I always remind you, just observe your satya and ahimsa, your truth and non-harm. If any pose doesn't feel right tonight in any way, just loosen out of it or come out of it completely and just take a little bit longer lying down and just joining in with the poses that you know you can do. And if you know there's something you can't do at all, and there's an alternative that you particularly like, then by all means, it's your practice. So enjoy it. So how tense do you feel today? Are you holding a lot in the upper body? Head, neck, shoulders, upper back? Or do you feel it more in the main part of your body, or is it sort of pelvis and legs downwards? So just sort of honing in on where you might benefit this evening. And just aware of your breath as well. Lovely deep belly breaths. You might naturally feel like the belly opens up and then the chest sort of expands. Have a moment to think about rooting down if you haven't already. And just as you do this, it's really nice to have that grounding thought and also a moment of gratitude. What can you be grateful for today? And it could be something really big, situation or a person, or it could be something that you're just grateful for in the last 5 minutes. What comes to mind? When we really feel grateful, we're in a really lovely vibration. We can't feel fear, we can't feel negative or anything like that when we're in gratitude. It could be the simplest thing that you're grateful for. Your afternoon cup of tea was just blissful and you really noticed it. Or perhaps it was just a fleeting few minutes where you noticed the sun on you or the view outside or the singing of a bird. Little glimpses of joy. A lot of people overlook these things, but when you can really sit with it and be present, it can overhaul your whole day. So my lovelies, we're going to come to seated for a nice meditation, some quiet time. So if you're lying down, have a moment just to stretch and then draw knees in. Have a nice little rock. See how your back's feeling. And then in your own time, you can just roll up, joining me seated. If you want to take a blanket over your knees while you sit here for a little while, or a blanket over your shoulders, it's always nice to become as comfortable as possible. We'll do some quiet zazen. Zazen just means seated meditation, so we're just going to sit here quietly, especially because it is an evening practice. It's really nice just to let the mind settle and wind down a little bit, even though you're going to have thoughts and be thinking. We're naturally in a kind of a bit more of a yin energy. So for 5 minutes, We'll rest our hands to Dhyana Mudra. Relax our face. Relax through the neck and the shoulders. Let the eyelids close gently. And then we'll simply follow our breath. Aware of the thoughts, and whenever one takes you off on a tangent, just come back whenever you can to that little gap between our thoughts. Just aware where your thoughts are at the moment. Staying with your breath. Just taking one more breath. We'll come back to our practice. How do you feel? How busy was your mind this evening? So just observing, no judgment. Okay, joining me in butterfly. And if you need to take a little support under each leg, please do tonight. Even if it's just a slight bit of fabric that you're resting the legs on, it can feel quite nice sometimes, just supportive, nurturing. So bringing the soles of our feet together, just letting the legs rest outwards. Notice the position of your feet as well. Sometimes the feet may be further away from the body. If so, you'll feel it more around your hips and the outer, which is your gallbladder stimulation. And then if your feet sort of do tend to come a little bit closer to the body, it'll be more kind of the inner legs you're feeling, liver and kidneys. So have a nice sigh and just relaxing into this pose. Try and draw your awareness to the belly as you breathe. What do you feel today? How do you feel today? It's just as nice to be mindful in your poses as you were in the quiet meditation. So noticing your thoughts still. Any areas you can keep relaxing. Can you relax your face a little bit more? Sometimes we're still holding tension there. Soften your cheeks and your jaw. Keep looking through your body. Notice if there's a little bit more space to move forward. Lovely deep breaths. Just explore if there's a bit more room. enjoying the stretch. And then we'll just take a few more breaths. Lovely. Coming up. And then popping your props aside. Let's come down. Feel whatever we feel. So it might take a little while, having been in that fold forward for 5 minutes, to just let everything soften, but gradually just keep looking through the back and your muscles through the back, gently letting go. Try to loosen any little bit of tightness you might have in the front of your body or the abdomen. Perhaps even in the sides of the waist, there might be a little bit of tension still held there, just as you kind of gently support the relaxation in the back of your body. Notice where you're still holding and feeling sensation. And you might naturally, as you lie here now, think, I need to move my body in the opposite direction. I often love to counterpose a certain pose after we've done one. So come into moving the spine backwards. So when you're ready, we're going to come into either heart bench or bench, whichever you wish, depending on what props you have available. So bring your knees in for a little hug. Have a nice rock. And then rolling up to seated. If you haven't got 2 blocks, then coming into bench is just as lovely. It opens up through the chest and it's a little bit more gentle, where you take the cushion a little further away from your body, about 4 inches, and then we lie back. As long as the head and neck feel supported, that is sometimes my preferred pose, depending on how I'm feeling. Otherwise, if you've got your 2 blocks, heart bench feels lovely as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to because the blocks can feel a little bit hard, but we're going to lie back over 1 block, which aligns along the length of our spine, and then the other one is simply for the back of the head to rest on. Take a few moments to keep adjusting, just to get that perfect little spot behind your back. Usually the bottom part of the block, I would say, sort of lines up around where your bra strap would be, that kind of area. Everyone's different. You might want to adjust it a little bit higher or lower. And to be honest, each time I come into it, I tend to just position it where I need to be that day. So a really nice pose here. Let's take the arms a little bit further from the body and opening up into our chest, this thoracic part of our body. If you're in heart bench, just every now and then keep checking with the chin, just let it rest so you lengthen the neck. Every now and then I think you'll find, as I do, my chin tends to lift up and there's tension. Isn't it strange how we can really relax the body and moments later, without knowing it, we're holding a load of tension again? Where does it come from? How do we let it creep in? Sometimes I like to close my eyes in these poses and just withdraw inwards a little bit more. In yoga, the fifth limb, no, sixth limb of yoga is dharana, which is withdrawal of the senses. So closing the eyes. Keep relaxing through the neck and softening the chin, especially if you're in heart bench. So how does it feel this evening? Take some deep breaths. As you breathe against your block, you're going to feel that in the upper back. Has a nice feeling of pressure against the body, the block. Like it's relieving a little bit of tension in the muscles of the back. Does your breath feel easy here? So when you're ready, let's just take one more breath together in this posture. And supporting your body as you lift yourself up and your head, as you look to your toes, gently coming up. And then coming down. Enjoying whatever you're feeling. Where do you feel that lovely relief in the upper part of your back? And just also noticing if there was any lingering sensation after our first pose, butterfly, whether that has sort of shifted and evened itself out. Relax the legs, your thighs, your buttocks. Following wherever the chi is moving or fading. And then we'll bring the knees in. Right one, then left one. Have a lovely rock. And we're going to come up into dragonfly. So roll up to seated. Seated position where we just take the legs out to the side. I quite like to have a little edge of a blanket just under the outer sort of edge of the buttocks. If you try this, even sort of, a couple of inches into a cushion or a pillow, it will just feel like you're tilting your pelvis forward a little bit. It discourages that rounding into the lower back. And so we'll just rest the hands in front of us and see what happens. I always like to notice where I start off here, how far the elbows may be away from the mat, and then gradually over 5 minutes, you somehow just manage to come closer to the mat maybe. So relaxing your ankles and your feet, feeling a lovely stretch on the inner legs. This is lovely and stimulating for your liver, kidney and spleen. Deep breaths to the belly. And then gradually you're going to find yourself softening into this pose. Notice if your knees feel tight. Just starting to relax the tops and the backs of your knees. And you can also compare how your legs feel, whether one feels more intense than the other. Keep looking to see if there's a bit more space to move into as you soften into the pose. Checking in with where you are on your threshold of sensation today, whether you're sort of lower end or really quite enjoying pushing into this stretch. Keep relaxing, just look through the body. You might find there's tension around the shins and knees. Breathing to belly. Keep relaxing your legs. You might find a bit of tension creep in. And then one more breath. Nice and slowly. It takes a long time to get down, and you might really find that you've softened into that pose. So just as slowly lift yourself up, feeling everything that you do as you bring the body upright. And then we'll work our way onto the floor to Shavasana. Take your time to notice what you're feeling, where you're feeling it. It might be quite intense and sort of centered around the lower back after that pose. Give your tail a wag if you need to, rock the pelvis gently just to ease out that deep stretch. And as you relax to your mat, just notice where you still need to let go. So gently, let's draw knees in. Have a hug. The next pose is bridge, supported bridge. So if you have a single block or a bolster, just something to be able to lift your body. So from this lying position, I'm going to bring the feet towards the buttocks. You can have a block on the top height or the second height down. Or if you have a bolster, then you can use this to lift up. So basically coming into a bridge position but being supported by a prop. Lift yourself up, but really try to position your block or your bolster on that little flat part of the sacrum that almost lines up with the top of your buttocks. Not so that any kind of prop is encroaching on the lumbar part of your vertebrae. You'll know where it feels comfortable and where it won't feel comfortable. So have a moment. And just settling into this posture. Notice perhaps initially the inner thighs will feel tense. The buttocks can often tense and the backs of the thighs. Almost immediately after you relax them, you might find that they tense again. It does happen with me. And then upper back and shoulders, just a second area to keep drawing your awareness to. So we're getting a lovely counter pose here into the lower part of our spine, lower part of the back. Keep relaxing, keep looking around your body for the tense muscle. And then you can become aware of your breath. You might find you breathe quite deeply here in nice slow breaths. Feeling the belly expand and contract. So how does this pose for you today? Is it feeling easy? Is it challenging? Is it a welcome position for your body. Keep relaxing the shoulders as well. Relax your face. What's going through your mind? Have a moment to be that conscious observer of your thoughts. And then we'll just take a few more breaths. As you come out of this pose, just lift onto your toes so that you can remove the prop that you've been using and roll down ever so slowly, one vertebrae at a time, stretching out into Shavasana. Oh, and just enjoying that lovely feeling. Hopefully it's a lovely feeling for you. Again, just rock the pelvis a little if you need to. And just feel that spaciousness in the core. It's very rare day to day we will come into some of we maybe bend forward with things that we're doing day to day, but it's very rare we would take the body backwards, either opening lower back or upper back. So sometimes they can feel really refreshing to the body. So just keep relaxing, because sometimes there's still a little bit of tension that you might hold around the place where we've worked after that posture. And then we'll bring the knees in for a nice little hug, especially in this after bridge pose, which does work your lower back. You might want to bring the head up to knees and just get that added bit of stretch in your body. It does feel quite nice. And then for our last pose, we're going to come into hammock. So you're going to need a yoga strap. We'll start off with the strap round the right foot. In terms of the length of your strap, as you have it round your foot, it probably comes to sort of your hip area. That's how long my strap is, and that seems proportional for my body. And then we're going to lie back, bend your knee as you raise your leg, pop the strap around the base of the skull area, the base of the head, not the neck at all. And so where you feel your strap, it sort of covers the tops of your ears, but not the main part of your ears. Your left leg, I like to rest on the floor, but if you need to, you can have it bent. It's entirely up to you. And then just we'll we'll hang out here in this lovely hammock posture, which is a nice elevation of the leg. Any fluids that you hold around the feet and ankles, this can be very relieving here. It's a nice rest for the heart. You not only get a lovely stretch in your hamstring when you let the head become heavy, but you can also enjoy a nice stretch through the back of the neck if occasionally you just push gently into the right foot. Nothing too harsh, but just a gentle exploration of how the pose feels between the pressure between both ends. And relax. How does this pose feel today? Does it feel tight in the back of your legs? Not in a bad way, but can you feel the stretch? Every now and then you can explore sort of the idea of straightening the leg a little more. You want to be able to feel these poses, but not to any pain. It's nice to challenge yourself a little bit. Breathing to your belly. Notice if every now and then there's a tightness in your tummy, whether you've tensed your abdominal muscles without knowing. So just relaxing here as well. Relax the foot and your ankle. And then if you want to, you don't have to, you can stay here if you wish, but I quite like to unhook the strap from the head, and you can rest the head on the floor. Grab hold of the strap, just have a little bit of free movement with your leg. Swing it out to the side, supported by holding the strap. You can swing it across the body, see how that feels into the hip. Raise the leg higher. You might need to bend your knee now and then. And then just feeling where you can straighten it as well. All the different feelings that you get from simply moving your leg around. Noticing where it feels good, where it feels a little bit tender. You can roll in some circles. And then when you're ready, just lower your leg down. If you keep your foot in the strap, and you can simply swap your feet over. Have a moment here just to rest and just absorb the after effects of that right side of hammock. Where do you feel the sensation around the back of the leg, your hamstring, perhaps even around the buttock area? If you need to draw the knees in, you can. Just sort of keeping your foot in the strap so it's easy to manoeuvre into the other side. So lifting now the left leg. Again, I'll always say this because it's important, but strap around the base of the skull bone, not the neck. right leg can rest along the floor or be bent, and then we'll just see how it feels this side. You might immediately notice a different sensation here if you have more flexibility one side than the other. But again, notice that feeling of letting the head be heavy, and then as you push into the foot. Try and relax your belly, and nice deep breaths. So how does this feel to stretch into the back of your leg a bit more? Does your leg start to shake a little? Does it feel quite stimulating through your calf muscle and the hamstring? Sensation in the back of your knee? As you explore this, just make sure your tummy doesn't sort of tense too much. Maybe as you pull down with the head, you'll feel that stretch in the back of the leg even more. The back of your legs, the bladder meridian runs along the back of your legs, so it's very stimulating for your bladder. Which side feels better, or do they feel very different? If you want to, let's have a little bit of free movement. So you can just unhook, move your leg around if you wish. Just feeling all the different parts that fire up and bring sensation as you explore the different movements. Which part of the movement here do you like the most? Do you like lifting the leg high, taking it out wide to the side, or across your body? Perhaps lower so you can straighten it. All targets different areas of the body, doesn't it? Or the leg. So when you're ready, have a few more moments if you wish, and then you can gently lower your leg down, unhook your foot, pop the strap aside, and just take a few moments to be still and know what you're feeling. Have a nice sigh. And just following any pulsation you feel in your body. And then when you're ready, Let's come into relaxation. Bring the knees in if you need to for a little rock. And either choosing to stay lying down with lots of blankets and cushions, or you can come up seated. What feels right for you? I think a little blanket over you, whether you're lying down or seated, is always nice. I'm going to take a card today, this evening. I feel drawn, so just while I'm shuffling, have a moment to think if there's a question you need answered, whether you just need a bit of general guidance or you're just curious as to what little loving message you might receive. Sometimes just trusting the process of life, trusting the universe. It's so hard sometimes when we have our own agenda, our own desires, our own idea of how we want life to be. But I do believe there is a greater plan for us to learn. Only when we are in challenge or things are a little bit uncomfortable or difficult do we learn. Something Sadhguru said, that when things are easy, we don't want a life like that. We're not living, we're not experiencing personal growth. It's when things get a little bit uncomfortable, perhaps, that we grow. So I'm going to just pick a card with my eyes closed. ArchAngel Gabriel. How lovely. Not had this one for a little while. So lie back, get cozy, and let's read what our lovely Archangel Gabriel says. You have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. I am with you as one of your guardian angels. You may wonder why an archangel is with you. I help many people simultaneously, and you are among them. I help those whose life purpose is in the arts or communication. I will help you polish and trust in your natural talents. I will open doors for you to express those talents in a way that will help others. What I need from you in return is honesty and cooperation. Tell me about your fears, your hopes, your confusion, your insecurities, and your dreams. Ask me to help you, and then please walk through the doors of opportunity that I open for you. I am on your side completely. My function is to be your coach, and as such, I may prod you along. Please know that I am only pushing you because I know that you need a little boost from above. That's lovely. Gabriel is twinned with the female counterpart Hope, and they are often resonate with the root and the sacral chakra, the root for feeling grounded and safe, and the sacral for creation and your emotions and moving things through life. So just have a moment in your mind's eye. Maybe you can picture what Archangel Gabriel looks like to you, what colour the wings are, how tall or small or radiant this angel is. But always ask, you have to ask. We have free will here on earth. They cannot intervene unless we are asking them for help and guidance and assistance. So gently. No need to move just yet. Just draw your awareness back from wherever your thoughts wandered. And just be conscious of them. Have a moment to send a little prayer upwards to whoever you like to send your thoughts to. Just sending up some thoughts of thankfulness and gratitude, or sending up thoughts of needing a bit of help and assistance with something. Sometimes it's quite nice to think or ask for answers to come in your dreams, or for clarity after a good night's sleep, and you wake up with a feeling or a knowing, or just something that guides you along your way. You may have a dream which you don't quite understand, but you can often look it up, what a certain animal means, or a certain situation, or anything that's key that you remember. So ask to remember your dreams. Have a notebook by your bed where you can immediately write it down, because within seconds the amnesia comes and we forget. When we're in dream state and we're in that lucidity of knowing we're dreaming, when things can feel quite normal in a dream, yet when you try to repeat it later it sounds absurd, that in some ways is the real reality of the universe, because all things are possible. It's only when we come into wakeful state that the illusion, the conditioning, everything that we've been programmed to understand from historic patterns comes back into play. The idea of anything beyond can seem difficult or challenging. So, gently now, just wiggling your fingers and toes. Let your body stretch. Let your mind stretch tonight in your dreams. And anybody that has an interesting one or has a clarity moment, a light bulb moment, please always share. It's always interesting and fascinating. So have a nice stretch. Hug knees in, gentle rock. Notice how you feel now, whether your emotions feel quite calm and balanced. It's always lovely to observe this. So just gently rolling up to seated. Take a moment. Notice if you were ready to or reluctant to. I always find that interesting. And then we'll bring our hands to heart center. This union, this is why we do this, hands together. Om Shanti. Namaste.